Hello. In today's session, we're going to talk about the Chapter 10 review in your third grade Go Math textbook. We're on page 445. So let's get started. Yul and Sarah's art class started at 11:25 a.m. The class lasted 30 minutes. Yul left when the class was done. Sarah stayed an extra 5 minutes to talk with the teacher and then left. Write the time that each student left and explain how you found each time. Okay, so the class started at 11:25. It lasted 30 minutes. So 30 minutes will be the elapsed time for the class. Yule left when the class was done. Sarah stayed an extra 5 minutes. Okay, so now there's a couple of ways we can find time. We can use a number line and skip forward in this case, or we can just add 30 minutes to 11:25. So in this case, it would be easier to just add 30 minutes. Okay, so 5 plus 0 is 5 minutes. 30 minutes plus 20 minutes is 50 minutes. And 11 o'clock plus no hours is 11:55. So we didn't go past the next hour, so it's just 11:55 a.m. So Yule left at 11:55 a.m. How did I get that? I added the times. 11:25 plus 30. Okay, Sarah stayed an extra 5 minutes. Well, if you're at 11:55 and we count 5 more minutes, that's 12 o'clock, right? Okay, so 12 p.m. Or we could also say noon, right? She left at noon. How did we get that? Just add 5 minutes to 11:55 a.m. You could also describe it as using a number line, and you'll just say what you did with the number line. Okay, which in this case, maybe you started at 11:25 and you skipped 10 minutes to 11:35, then 10 more minutes to 11:45, and then the final 10 minutes to 11:55. And then for Sarah, you would just jump 5 more minutes and you'd be at 12 o'clock. All right, so number 2. Julio measured an object that he found. It was about 3/4 inch wide. For numbers 2a through 2d, choose yes or no to tell whether the object could be the one Julio measured. All right, so you use your ruler, and let's review this. Okay, so when we look at this ruler, we see a bunch of lines in between, right? So which one's 3/4? Well, each of the longer lines is a fourth. So there's 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4, or 1 whole. Okay, so when we're talking about that, that means that every 4 lines is 1/4 of an inch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 4 sets of 4 marks in 1 inch from 0 to 1. So on the ruler, the lines that are longer indicate that. So the longest line is 4/4 or 1 whole. The next longest line is 1/2 or 2/4. Then the next longest lines are fourth marks. Okay. And then the beginning one is obviously 0. Okay. All right. So 0, 1/4, 2/4 or 1/2, 3/4, 4/4 or 1 whole. So we need to find which one of these is closest to 3/4. Okay, not to an inch, but to 3/4. So let's look at this first one. So if we put it at 0, okay, 3/4 is right here. But it's actually closer to this mark, which makes it closer to 1 whole. So I'm going to say no on that one. Okay, how about this one? Oh yeah, that's definitely 3/4, right? It's right on the 3/4 mark. 1, 2, 3. So yes, that could have been. How about the finger? Well, that's right at 1 inch. So no, that's not going to be the one. And D. Oh well, if this was 1 inch and this one's longer than that, this is going to be longer than an inch. So no, that can't be 3/4. Okay, so our answers are no, yes for the stamp, no for the length of the finger, and no for the eraser. The eraser is the longest one. Okay, and the shortest one on here is the stamp. So if the stamp is the only one that's 3/4, the other ones are all bigger. So no. All right, so let's continue with number 3. Dina started swimming at 3:38 p.m. and she swam until 4:15 p.m. How long did Dina swim? So we can go backwards on a clock. We can use a clock and go back until we get to 3:38, or we can start at 3:38 and jump forward. So I think I'm going to jump forward starting at 3:38. All right, so we're at 3:38, and I want to jump 2 minutes to get to 3:40. Now it's a little easier to add, right? So let's. I'm going to go by tens. You can go by 20 minutes or larger numbers if you want, or by fives if you want. So adding 10 minutes, I'm at 3:50. Remember, I have to go until I get to 4:15. And then add another 10. Now I'm at 4 o'clock. Okay. And now I think I'm just going to add 15 minutes because from 4 to 4:15 is just 15 minutes. All right, so we're now at 4:15. All right. So what times do I add? Let's start with the largest number. I had 15 minutes plus 10 plus 10 plus 2. All right. Well, 5 and 2 is 7, right? And 10, 20, 30. So 37 minutes is how long she swam. All right. 4. Rita's class begins social studies at 10 minutes before 1 in the afternoon. At what time does Rita's class begin social studies? Circle a time that makes the sentence true. All right, so 10 minutes before 1. So if we're at 1 p.m., we have to go back 10 minutes. Okay, well, if we were on a clock and we subtracted 5 minutes at a time, so the minus 5, she'd be at 12:55 p.m., right? And then she takes away 5 more minutes, she would be at 12:50 p.m. Okay, so it's not 1:10 a.m. Okay, that would actually be adding time to 1 o'clock, but it also says in the afternoon. This is after midnight, so no. 1:10 p.m.? No, that's going the wrong direction because it says before 1. Before 1. 12:50 a.m.? Well, again, that's after midnight. So no. So it's got to be 12:50 p.m. So be careful with AM, PM. Number 5, select the objects with a mass greater than 1 kilogram. Mark all that apply. So now let's think about um, what we were relating weight in grams to. We said a gram is about the weight of a paper clip, or maybe even like a dollar bill. A kilogram would be a box of 1,000 paper clips. So thinking about that, which of these would be more than a box of paper clips? Okay, more than a box of paper clips. A bicycle definitely would be, right? Your math book? Yeah, math book. But how about an eraser and a pen? Do you think those would be um, more than the weight of 1,000 paper clips? This pen here, is that more than 1,000 paper clips? No. An eraser? No. Erasers are fairly light. So I think just these two would be something I would measure in kilograms. All right, how about number 6? All right, so a chicken dish needs to bake in the oven for 35 minutes. Okay, so it takes 35 minutes until the chicken is done. And then it needs to cool for 8 minutes before serving. Okay, so I gotta wait 8 more minutes before I can actually give it to a guest or before I can eat it. Scott puts the chicken dish in the oven at 5:14 p.m. Okay, so he starts at 5:14, takes 35 minutes to cook and 8 minutes to cool. So can he serve the dish at 5:51 p.m.? I don't know how we're going to figure that out. It takes 35 minutes to cook and 8 minutes to cool. So couldn't I add 35 minutes plus 8 minutes? I'm going to say time to cook, time to cool. Right? It takes 35 minutes to cook and then 8 more minutes before we can actually serve it. So 8 and 5 is 13 minutes. I can regroup that as 1 10 minutes and 3 minutes. So 30 minutes and 10 minutes is 43 minutes. Okay, so it takes 43 minutes to prepare the chicken to be ready to serve. So if I start at 5:14, I can add 43 minutes to that. All right. So I start cooking at 5:14. It takes 43 minutes before I can actually serve it. 35 minutes to cook, 8 minutes to cool. 4 plus 3 is 7. Okay, good. We don't have to regroup. 40 minutes plus 10 minutes is 57 minutes. And then there's no hours to add. So I would be ready to serve at 5:57 p.m. So can you serve the dish at 5:51? No. It would be done cooking, but it's not. He didn't allow the 8 minutes to cool, so no. He can serve the dish at 5:58 p.m. Well, it's ready to serve at 5:57. Is 5:58 before or after? That's after, so yeah, he can serve it then. Scott should take the dish out of the oven at 5:51 a.m. Well, I hope not, because his chicken's going to be really black by then. Because that would be a whole 12 hours almost. Actually, it would be. It would be over 12 hours. PM to AM, they're different days. Okay, so no. Scott should take the dish out of the oven at 5:49 p.m. Well, let's see. It's got to take 35 minutes to cook. He started cooking at 5:14, and it says the chicken's got to cook for 35 minutes. All right, so 5:14, add 35 minutes of cooking time. 5 plus 4 is 9. 30 minutes plus 10 minutes is 40 minutes. So 5:49 p.m. Yes, that's when he should take it out. And then it's going to cool. So true. All right. Number 7. Anthony's family went out to dinner. They left at the time shown on the clock. They returned at 6:52. How long was Anthony's family gone? Well, what time is it? This is what time they left. So the hour hand is pointing at the 5. So it's 5 something. And the minute hand is pointing right at the 5, at the 1. So that's 5:05. 5:05 p.m. Now they returned at 6:52. Well, why don't we add an hour? So we know it's going to be at least an hour. So plus 1 hour would be 6:05 p.m. Okay, now we have to go from 6:05 to 6:52. So I'm going to use a number line at this point. So 6:05 is my beginning time, and I'm going to extend it out until I get to 6:52. I'm going to start with adding 5 minutes. Now I'm at 6:10. Now I'm going to add 20 minutes. That puts us at 6:30. And now I'm going to go 10 more minutes, and now I'm at 6:40. I can add 10 more minutes. That would put me at 6:50. And 6:50 plus 2 minutes would make me 6:52. So we know that they're gone at least 1 hour because we added the 5 to get to 6:05. Okay, might as well add that quickly. All right. Now, how many minutes went by from 6:05 to 6:52? 20, 2 tens, a 5, and a 2. Okay. All I'm doing is adding the times I jumped. 20, 30, 40, 45, 47. 47 minutes. So 1 hour and 47 minutes. How did I find my answer? I added 1 hour to 5:05 to get 6:05. I then used a number line to add 5 minutes. Add 5 minutes, 20 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, and 2 minutes to get to 6:52. That was a sum of 47 minutes. All right, so this is what I did. I probably could have explained it by just saying I added 47 minutes to 6:05, but I add 1 hour to 5:05 to get 6:05. I then used a number line to add 5 minutes, 20 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, and 2 minutes to get to 6:52. That was a sum of 47 minutes. All right. Number 8. Tran checked the time on his wife on his watch after he finished his daily run. Select the time that Tran finished running. Mark all that apply. All right, so the hour hand is in between 8 and 9. So it's not 9 o'clock yet, but it's past 8 o'clock. So we know it's 8 something. Now each minute on each number on the clock is 5 minutes, right? So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. So it's past the 45. It's 1 minute past 45. So that's 46. So it's 8:46. Okay, well, that's definitely B. Okay, but it says select all that apply. So is there another way of saying 8:46? Well, is it a quarter to 9? That would be 15 minutes to 9. No, it's not 15 minutes to 9. It's how much? Let's go backwards. The 9 o'clock would be right up here, right? So let's count back minute hands. 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 minutes before 9. So not 15 minutes. Is it 9:46? No, it hasn't got to 9 yet. 14 minutes before 9, yeah. Okay, so in 14 minutes, we'll be at 9 o'clock. All right. Number 9. Kara uses a balance scale to compare mass. Okay, remember with the balance that if one side is lower than the other side, that means that that's a heavier object, the one that's lower, and the one that's higher is lighter. But if they're in the same spot, they're balanced, they're equal. So the mass of blocks, well, this looks even, right? I don't see one lower than the other, so they're equal. The mass of the blocks, or the weight of the blocks, is equal to the mass or the weight of the erasers. Number 10. All right, so volume question. A large bottle of water holds about 2 liters. Okay, so that's like a 2-liter bottle of soda. Think of it that way. Okay, so we have a 2-liter bottle of soda, or in this case, water. And we need to choose yes or no to tell whether the container will hold all of that water. All right, so kitchen sink. Could you take that 2-liter bottle of water or soda and pour it into your sink? Sure, it would hold it. Sinks hold a lot of water, especially kitchen sinks. A water glass. A water glass is only about 8 ounces. So there's no way I could take a glass, okay, a regular drinking glass, and pour the whole 2 liters of soda into one glass. No. An ice cube tray. You guys might not even know what an ice cube tray is. Because your refrigerator and freezer makes the ice often for everybody now. An ice cube tray has about 12 little cups on it, and you pour water in them. And you put it in the freezer, and it freezes it, and you get ice cubes. So, but to hold 2 liters, it's not possible. An ice cube tray is not going to do that. That's not enough. It's not big enough. A large soup pot. Well, yeah, that would work. Those are large containers that hold a lot of water. A lunchbox thermos. No. All right, number 11. Select the items that would be measured in grams. Okay, so again, grams. We would be using like the weight of a paperclip or like a dollar bill. A watermelon. Oh my goodness, no. That's more than 1,000 paper clips, right? That would be kilograms. No, a lettuce leaf, just one lettuce, not the whole head of lettuce, that, like you would have on a hamburger. You put your lettuce on there, one slice, or a sandwich. Yeah, I could see that being measured in grams. A grape, one grape? That's really light. We're not talking about a whole bunch of grapes. It said grape. Onion. An onion's not that big or that heavy. I'm going to say all three of those would be grams. Okay. All right, number 12. Samir made a list of what he did on Tuesday. Write the letter for each activity next to the time he did it. All right, get out of bed, walk to school, eat lunch, go to guitar lesson after school, eat dinner at home. So the earliest thing is getting out of bed. The latest thing is eating dinner. So let's look at the times here. Which one's the earliest time? Okay, 8:05, that's in the morning. That you could get out of bed at that time. Usually school have already started by 8:05. 11:48 a.m. It is morning, but I'm thinking I'm getting hungry about then. 6:25 a.m. Okay, that's a little more reasonable as far as getting out of bed, getting ready, having breakfast. I'm going to say A, we're getting out of bed. All right, so I've used that one. Now, walk to school. Well, isn't that going to be the next earliest time? So he's walking to school at 8:05. Eat lunch. Oh yeah, see, I said we were going to get hungry about 11:48. Okay, we usually eat about 12 noon. Go to guitar lesson after school. Well, I sure hope you're not still in school at 6:30 at night. Okay, so he's going to go to his guitar lesson about 3:50, and then eat dinner at home. It's reasonable to eat about 6:25 p.m. Okay, all right. 13. Amy has 30 grams of flour. She puts 4 grams of flour in each pot of chowder that she makes. She puts 5 grams of flour in each pot of potato soup that she makes. She makes 4 pots of chowder. Does Amy have enough flour left over to make 3 pots of potato soup? So let's see. We have 4 pots of chowder. And in every pot of chowder, she uses 4 grams of flour. All right. And then she wants to make 3 pots of potato soup. And that would be 5 grams in each. So she only has 30 grams. So if this adds up to more than 30, she doesn't have enough. So let's see. 4 plus 4 plus 4. Okay, 4 and 4 is 8. 4 and 4 is 8. And over here we know that 3 fives is 15, right? Okay. So 8 and 8 is 16. 16 plus 15. So she's using 16 grams of flour for the chowder, and she has to still have 15 grams left in order to make the potato soup. So 6 plus 5 is 11. I'm going to regroup that as 110 and 1 1. And 110, 2 tens, 3 tens, 31 grams. She doesn't have enough. Does Amy have enough? No. She needs 31 grams, but she only has 30 grams. Use an inch ruler to measure. All right. What is the length of the leaf to the nearest fourth inch? Okay, so remember at the beginning we talked about that each of the longer lines on a ruler, kind of got smeared. Let me just erase that, okay? So each of the longer lines is a fourth, and we want to go to the nearest fourth inch. So put it on 0, and then, okay, so it's past the 1 inch mark, and then it's 1, 2, 3, 4. The first group of 4 marks, that's 1/4. So it's 1 and 1/4 inch long. Okay, not just 1/4 inch. Because look, it's if we put it at 0, the leaf is longer than 1. So it's 1 whole inch and a fourth of a second inch. So 1 and 1/4. What happens if you line up the left side of the object with the 1 on the ruler? Well, if I put it at 1, I would say the leaf is 2 1/4. Wouldn't I be off by an inch? Yeah. So I would get a measure of 2 1/4 inches. Okay. Not 1 1/4 inches. And 15. Mrs. Park takes the 9:38 a.m. train to the city. Oh my goodness. The trip takes 3 hours and 20 minutes. What time does Mrs. Park arrive in the city? So 9:38. Well, it's easiest to go ahead and add the 3 hours, right? Because it's easy to count by hours. Well, that's what 3 hours would look like. So it's 12. This is a.m. So once we reach 12, we're now at 12:38 p.m. And now we need to add 20 minutes. Okay. It's not 20 minutes. PM time is just 20 minutes. All right. So 20 minutes. So we added the 3 hours. Now we're adding 20 minutes. So 12 hours. 12:58 p.m. All right. Number 16. Hector buys 2 bags of gravel for his driveway. He buys a total of 35 kilograms of gravel. Select the bags he buys. Well, okay, so the 2 bags have to add up to 35. So kind of a guess and check type deal. Did he buy a 15 and 17 bag? That's 12, that's 32. No, so he didn't buy 15 and 17. Let's try 17 and 18. 8 and 7 is 15, 35. Oh, okay. All right. That's what he bought. 17. Ashley measures the shells she collects. She records the measurements in a chart. Ashley found a razor clamshell this long. Use an inch ruler to measure and record the measurement in the chart. Okay, so put it at 0, and I'm at 3. So I'm at 3.5. I don't see any other 3.5s in the chart. So we have one shell that's 3.5. 3.5 inches. Okay, let's confirm that. Double check. Yeah. So 1, 2, it's at the second fourth mark, so it's in between 3 and 4, 3.5. All right, now, using the table, complete the line plot. So it says the length of shells measured to the nearest half inch. All right, so how many shells were 1 inch? One shell. So I'm going to put 1x above the 1. The x's represent the number of shells that have that measurement. So 2.5 inches, it tells me that there's 2. All right. And then the next number I see on the chart is 1.5 inches, and there's 3 of those. Okay. And then we have one shell that is 2 inches long. And we have the last one she found, and there's only one of them. Okay, so that's what our line plot should look like. So, how many shells are longer than 2 inches? Okay, well, this one is not longer than 2. It is 2. So 1, 2, 3. So I just counted number x's above numbers greater than 2. I didn't count any of these. Okay, 2 is not greater than 2. And number 18. Lucy fills a bathroom sink with water. Okay, bathroom sink. So that's a little smaller than a kitchen sink, but pretty good amount of water. Is the amount of water more than a liter, about a liter, or less than a liter? So remember the kind of the water bottles you would bring maybe to school to drink during the day? That's about a liter. Okay. It's half of a bottle of soda, of the big bottles, of the 2 liter bottles. So if I fill that bathroom sink all the way to the top, that's going to be more than what my water bottle would hold. So it's going to be more than 1 liter. Basically, it can hold more than one bottle of water. Okay. All right. So I guess we can say medium. Okay. So the ones that we're drinking at school that are kind of medium bottles, we don't take the big 2 liter bottles of soda to fill it with water to drink during the day. Okay. It's a medium sized bottle. Okay. It's not one of those little tiny ones either. All right. So anyway, the bathroom sink will hold more than 1 liter. All right. So that's it for the chapter 10 review. Make sure you practice your kind of your benchmarks. What did we say was a thing that you could use for general measurements for volume, distance, and weight? Okay. Be familiar with using your inch ruler and breaking whole numbers into 4 sections, right? And practice telling time and either using the number line to move forward on the clock or on the number line to get to your time that they give you, or to go back to find how much time has passed and be able to just in general tell the time using the hour hand and the minute hand. Okay, so that's it for chapter 10. And in our next chapter, we're going to be talking about perimeter and area. So until then, may the numbers always be in your favor.